Greetings, I'm Doc Griffin, your swing surgeon director of club fitting, and I'm here today to cover a subject that was brought up in one of the blogs recently. But before I do, I want to respond to questions that we've been getting still on how Vaughn is doing. That is my wife. The CT scans are still coming back in very, very positive. It is showing that the tumor, which started out the size of a grapefruit and had gotten to 6 centimeters, is now at 5 centimeters. So it is still shrinking, and we appreciate all the prayers and people responding and asking how she's doing. So I want to fill you in on that. Now, to deal with the subject today that has been approached on the blog, had to do with something somebody saw on another instructional site about holding the toe of the club up at address. Now behind me here I have two clubs. As you see, left in their natural state, they sit and sole themselves perfectly flat on the ground. The lines, score lines here, are perfectly parallel to the ground. This is how a club was intended to sit. Now the comment that was brought up, or the question was about, they were saying on this other site that they were saying that at address the toe should sit up off the ground. Well, as you notice, what I had to do in order to get that toe up, now I'm going to stick a shaft inside this. In order to get the toe up, I have to pull down on the shaft. Now, the pulling down on that shaft to get the toe to come up would be a direct result of either one or two things in your setup. Number one, holding your hands very low would cause you to pull the toe up. Number two, if you think about it, the longer I make this shaft, the more you will have to bring the shaft down in order to get it into your hands at proper address. So if at address the toe of your club is sitting up, you got one or two things going on. Probably the shaft is too long, or number two, you're holding your hands very, very low, which means you're not bending your knees and you're bending over at the waist too much and forces your hands down. Now, I understand the concept of why this other instructional site was saying to have the toe of the club sitting up off the ground. That was to compensate for what we call the toe down effect, or droop, when you swing a golf club. In other words, when you swing a club, the shaft will flex or load and then bend two different ways. As you come to the top of your backswing, the shaft will go this way. As you come down and unload and release, the shaft will bend downward, or the toe will go downward. This is what is called the toe down effect, which we give credit to Carsten Solheim, which was the founder of Ping, for seeing this phenomenon and putting a name to it. That when you club, you come in and you release or load and release the club, the toe will actually go downward. But I got news for you. Sitting at address and holding the toe up does not compensate for what happens when you swing the golf club and the club toes down. It's going to toe down no matter what you do at static address. I'll give you a perfect example. I had a young fellow years ago that came into the shop, and as he addressed the golf ball, his toe was so far up off the ground that I could get 6 quarters under the toe. So automatically I'm thinking, man, I'm going to have to get a club that's really, really flat in order for this club to work properly. As when we did his actual testing, his clubs were upright. So this holding and so forth at address has absolutely nothing to do with the dynamics of the shaft and how it reacts coming through. So what does affect that toe down effect? Number one, club head speed and your strength and your actual loading and unloading or release of the shaft through impact. Number two, and primarily, is the shaft itself. How weak or how strong is the tip of the shaft? Of course, the stronger the shaft, the less it's going to allow the force of the club to go down. Number three, how about let's deal with the size of heads and where we're putting the weight. The bigger you make that head and bring the toe out here, and the more you put weight out away from the shaft, the more droop you're going to get. Number four, and this is where we club fitters can come in with sets that you've already got. Of course, if we're building something from scratch, we're going to put you in the right shaft and so forth to begin with. But lie angle. Now, people think lie angle is a direct correspondent to the way you swing. Lie angle, swing path. There may be some correlation, a little correlation there to whether you swing flat or upright, whether you need a flat or upright swing. But I'm telling you, primarily, the need for a particular lie angle is going to have to do with the way you load and unload the shaft and the properties of the tip of the shaft as to how much toe down droop it allows or doesn't allow. So this again is going to be something that you'll need to work with a fitter on, and it is very important. This toe down effect and so forth can cause the club, again, we've been through this before, to actually toe to grab and drag and open up the heel, and this will cause it to put clockwise spin on the ball, which will cause the ball for right-handers to fade or slice. So if you're having some difficulty with this, or you notice that your toes or your clubs are sitting abnormally high off the ground or whatever and not able to sole it flat, you may want to have a club fitter look at your lie angle and length of shaft to check it and make sure that they are properly fit to you. But in conclusion here, folks, let me tell you, at address, the club is made to sit flat, lines parallel. This also aids in squaring up the club face to target instead of trying to see, do I have this square to my target line with lines that are pointed to the sky? Over exaggeration, but they run perfectly parallel to the ground. Makes it a lot easier to square your club up too. Well, that's it for me today. Again, this is Doc Griffin. We appreciate your support. We appreciate you watching. If you have questions, as always, please feel free to contact me either by phone or email, or put it on the blog. I see it, I will respond. And as always, keep it vertical, and remember, better golf is just a fit away.